I'm on Brennan Lake, making my way back to the Flint system. It rained and blew for about an hour, and then it settled out again, just like this morning, nice and calm. So I'm going to try and make some progress today. I feel like I've been behind due to the weather, stopping for thunderstorms, and I think I did that twice on this trip already. And then yesterday was just super windy and I didn't make very many kilometers. So today I'm going to try and take advantage of the conditions and catch up to where I think I should be.
When I paddled past this island, I spooked all the nesting birds, gulls and terns. The gulls flew up, but the terns stayed on their nest to protect their eggs.
Well, if you watch my tripping videos, you know that I love to search for pictographs. If they're on my route and I know about them, I seek them out. If they are a chance, I'll find some. I go look for them. And I've had some luck today. There's a couple here. And this is exactly where you find them, where you have these nice steep cliffs, usually majestic cliffs, not always, but usually steep or overhanging cliffs. And there's been none of that on my trip. All the rock formations have been low, sloping towards the water, and you never find them there. Here's a couple right here. Really interesting.
Sites like this are where it is thought that medicine men or other individuals came to fast and have visions in order to gain medicine in the form of power or knowledge from the Great Spirit. Let's start in the top right with the moose. This is no ordinary moose. It has spikes on its back. Spikes or lines on figures like this generally denote great power or medicine. Moose and other animals were also frequently depicted showing voids in their bodies, likely representing internal organs, also a symbol of power. Below the moose, there are some faded images. These are potentially older and hard to read, but if I zoom in and trace the outline, I can get a better appreciation of what these may have looked like. There is an odd shape that I don't recognize, and it looks like a human standing in a canoe with arms down. The symbology of arms up or arms down was important for these images. The position of the arms signifies the origin of the medicine, from above or below. Humans with arms up are much more common, and the figure in the top middle is such an example. This is a medicine man gaining power from above. In his hand is an object that is obscured by the lichen, but I think it's a medicine bag made from an otter. Medicine men would have a medicine bag, often made from an otter or other animal, and there are other depictions of this in other places, such as Artery Lake on the Bloodvein River or Quetico Lake. Often the medicine men would have lines of power emanating from their heads. Perhaps the lichen here obscures similar lines. To the left of the medicine man is a number of lines. To me, this looks like a cross and a number of tick marks. Crosses are also very common and are thought to represent the cardinal directions, while tick marks may represent the number of days fasting before a vision arrived. There are more tick marks below this pictograph. The last panel depicts what I think is another moose. Again, it has a hollow body and lots of spikes or lines of power. Is this a place important to the moose clan? Is it a place to gain power from the moose spirit? Is it a place to ask for a successful hunt? Or is it something else?
Well, that was really gratifying. I love the mystery of pictographs. I try and show them as much respect as I can. They're part of someone else's culture. Some people say not to take pictures of them. I do. I feel it's worthwhile sharing and trying to educate people about them, and hopefully when people see them they give them respect as well and not touch them. Or I've even seen some that have been defaced, and that's not cool. So anyway, that's how I approach them. I hope that's understood and respected. It's always nice to see terns. I only find common terns when I'm up in latitudes like Wabakimi or woodland caribou or St. Raphael. I don't see them further south in the boreal forest.
I met this group of American Boy Scouts who just got off the train at the Allan Water Bridge a few days earlier. What a trip to be doing when you're 14 or 15 years old. It's no wonder why this route is so popular in the other direction.
So this is a seldomly used chain of lakes that goes between the Allan Water system and the Flint River system. And yeah, I've got 3 portages. This is the shortest. And I've got one major obstacle here. So this isn't used enough. It doesn't get attention, and it hasn't been cleared in a long time. So I've had to do a bit of clearing. I can't cut these big logs. So just throwing the boat over. This is a 100-meter portage. I've got a 300-meter and a 900 meter. So hopefully have any luck, they won't all be this bad. Oops, it goes this way.
Without regular maintenance, these trails tend to meander through the forest. Every time a tree falls down, someone picks a different way around that obstacle, and it just makes for a really confusing path.
Well, this is the medium portage, the 300-meter portage. It is rough, but manageable. Looks like people have been through here in the last, well, maybe last year. Nothing's been cleared, but some branches have been broken, that kind of thing. So this trail does get some use. The trail, though, whoop, bummer. I was just gonna say the trail's getting really, I was just gonna say the portage is really starting to meander, and it's hard to maneuver a canoe through a portage like that. There's just too many trees and branches in the way. We're gonna negotiate it around everything like that. There we go. And I hit a tree. Another obstacle. We'll get there. Oh, I could have gone the other way around this one. Bummer. Forgot about this one. Over the obstacle. Quite on my shoulders. There we go. Well, this is disconcerting, but it also gives me a bit of hope. My big gamble here is that I've got one more big portage from this system and back to the Flint system where I started. Other portage is 900 meters. And when I asked the assistant superintendent, like, you know, what do you know about that portage? He said, well, it could be rough. But this tells me that there's a chance, because canoe trippers aren't going to bring Heineken beer in cans into the backcountry, not this far anyway. So this is probably American fishermen. If it's American fishermen staying at these fly-in lodges, then the lodge itself may be maintaining that trail so they can come over and fish this lake. So I will pack this out, and it gives me hope that the portage back into the Flint system will be relatively clean. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised it isn't raining yet. The forecast was to start raining in the middle of the night and rain all day. So I put the tarp up last night and didn't really need it. That's okay. And I'm going to make up some quick breakfast here. I'm going to make some pancakes and tackle that 900 meter portage today. Hopefully it's in good condition. Well, the rain held off long enough for me to break camp, which is nice because most of my stuff is put away dry. And just a short little 2K paddle for that big portage. That portage has been in my head this whole trip. And I've done longer portages than 900 meters, but 900 meters when you're not sure of the condition and you know it could be bad is a long portage. And to do it on a wet day is... It's just in my head, if you know what I mean. So that was a steep and slippery landing in the rain. Those rocks are very slippery right now. So I got all my stuff up on high ground. And this is the start of the portage. It looks really good, actually. The trail goes up there. It looks nice and wide and well used. I'm very hopeful this 900 meter portage won't be as bad as it could have been. And lots of activity here. There's even a fire pit and some firewood. So this gets used. This trail, I'm hoping, is in good condition. I seem to be missing video from this portage, but I thought I'd show you what this looks like in Google Earth. And if you zoom in, you can actually see the trail. It is quite well maintained. There was just a few trees here and there. Well, that portage was pleasant enough, 900 meters, but very, very clean. A few trees here and there, but for the most part, relatively easy to get over. So I'm back into the Flint River system. My loop is almost complete. So that last portage did weigh heavily on my mind, and that's aside. The next thing that's sort of bothering me is an upstream pull that I'd have to do to get from Flint Lake into the Flint River again. There's a portage there, but there's about 500 meters of river that doesn't have a portage. The current is fast. I came down it no problem. I was concerned going up. I can pull a boat up through rapids easily enough, but it looked really deep. Steep banks, heavily wooded banks, no rocks, so I could do it, but it would be a lot of trouble. So what I'm going to do instead is take a portage that I know about into Wilkie Lake and divert that altogether and get back into the Flint River. Kind of brilliant. I hope it's brilliant. Well, this is really strange. There's a portage from Wilkie Lake into a little finger lake, And then that little Finger Lake should have another portage into the rest of the Flint system. I'm where it is, where it should be, in the creek. It's only a 40-meter portage, but there's no portage here, nothing. I've walked both ways, I've paddled around, nothing. So I'm just bushwhacking. I'm pulling my stuff through the bush. The gear's all there, I just got the canoe to go. I guess I'm dragging it down this creek bed. I was carrying it, but it's getting caught up on branches and stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good. This has been a productive day despite the weather. Sometimes weather like this slows you down. I did the 900-meter portage this morning. I just finished a 600-meter portage. That's my 2 big ones out of the way. A bunch of little ones today. So more than 2 kilometers of portaging today, and that's 3 trips each with my large pack, my barrel, and the canoe, all separate trips. And I'm gonna make, you know, close to 20 kilometers today. So despite the weather, this has been productive. Really miss the family. 2 weeks is kind of my limit. If I was on alone, I would tap out after 2 weeks. I just want to go back to my family. Yeah, this is, I'm grateful my wife lets me come and do these crazy things. There's calm in your eye. You are like a hurricane. Oh, don't like to complain when I'm camping, but that was a miserable day. It just rained all day. It's still raining now. I got soaked inside and out of my rain jacket. When you move like that, paddling and portaging, you generate heat and you sweat. And I don't care what your jacket's made out of, it will eventually accumulate moisture on the inside. And that's what happened. I got to camp here at the end of the day. Found a great campsite, by the way, and I was cold, wet, and miserable. So I threw up the tarp and lit a fire, drying off, feeling really, really good, having some hot tea as well, and nibbling on some lunch that I didn't finish earlier in the trip. And yeah, there's a great little waterfall here. I'm sure fishing below that falls will be excellent. I might try that tomorrow morning for breakfast. We'll see. The other thing about this site, although it's large, it's got a great fire pit, it also has a stash of firewood. Somebody was here before. I think this is probably a destination site where people come for a long weekend or something, camp, fish, hang out, cut firewood. And I'm sure in part of their brain they were thinking, hey, I'll just make a big pile of firewood and maybe on a cold, wet, miserable day, some guy's going to come along and really appreciate that. Well, today that's me. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's always nice to leave firewood for the next person at a campsite. I'm trying not to use it all. There's not a lot of firewood around here. There's a lot of big logs. So I went and found a big log that somebody cut up, and I'm using that as my main source of fuel, and I'm using that split stuff to supplement it. I may go grab some other stuff around here. So yeah, I'm very appreciative of the firewood. It didn't save my life. I would have got by without it, but it certainly saved my mood. I'm very grateful for the firewood and the warmth it's giving me. Well, I'm on Heathcote Lake and I'm making great progress. The wind has been very favorable. I've had a good push most of this lake. Very nice. I'm probably, despite my late start, I'm probably going to get over the tracks today. There's one campsite on the other side of the tracks that I saw coming up, and that may be where I spend the night. If I make tremendous progress, I might even try and get out tonight. Late. It'll be late though. We'll see. What's that? No, I'm gonna pass over the tracks and keep going. Thanks. Bony in here. I'm just trying to get through these rocks. Rocks everywhere. Well, I made it to Flint Landing by 3:30, and there's a campsite just over the tracks, and I was there at 4, and I thought, gee, I'm really close to the truck. 8 kilometers, something like that. I do have the obstacles in the upper Flint here to deal with, the swifts and a couple of portages. But since I've had such a short day, I started at 11:30. I might as well push on to the truck. Rocks everywhere, rocks everywhere. That's a good swift. Well, I'm almost done my trip. A couple kilometers to go now before the landing where my truck is. I really think this was a great trip. Certainly the sights were awesome. Flint River was great to explore. The fire was really interesting to me. I enjoyed being on Wabakimi Lake again and crossing an old path that my wife and I took many years ago. And certainly enjoyed seeing a caribou. What else? Brennan Falls. It's a great falls. And I think this trip was a real great benefit to me. It grounded me, it relaxed me. I had a lot of stress the 2 months leading up to this trip. And the first week of the trip, I was still feeling it. Even though I was calming down, things were settling out at home. I didn't notice how off the mark I was until I did a canoe trip. Yeah, I wasn't on my game, so to speak. And then about 6 or 7 days into the trip, I really did relax, and I think I'm better off for it. I'm glad I did the trip. I'm feeling on my game and ready to go back to the world. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate the views. Thanks for staying with me. This was probably going to be a series, so thanks for sticking with all those episodes, and I'll see you guys in the next one.